Hello, love. Welcome home to Eden. This is Eve Christoph, your Love Life Muse. This is Love Life with Eve, channeling and streaming on YouTube. So connect with me, subscribe to this channel. If you are an evolved man, especially who already loves and respects women and wants to be even more of an amazing lover, this is the place to come home to, Eden with Eve. And I'm here offering you a rare glimpse of sexual divinity and the sacred truth of women. So today's topic is I'm continuing with awakening the sexuality of the Western woman. I would say the white woman, but many women of color now are experiencing the same challenges basically that I'm about to approach here. So yesterday or earlier today, I was talking about the Inquisition and this world event that happened that has really infected the Western woman with a sense of terror when it comes to her sexuality. It's very subliminal, it's in the unconscious, but it is very alive. The Inquisition that happened, it was not 6 million women, by the way. That was a really, I got the Holocaust mixed up in my facts. I'm really sorry, but this Inquisition was 500,000 women over 700 years, and actually there was a percentage of that, anywhere between 25 to 10% in various places, where those were men. Actually, mainly though, the men were men who were related to the woman, men who were her husbands or son. And so what happened was, not only were the women murdered, but any man who loved them and understood them and would have stood up for them and protected them was also killed. This is over 700 years, right? So, and we know that the population wasn't nearly as big when this started in the 12th century, and it went all the way up to the 18th century, by the way. The last murder, the last burning at the stake was... yeah, it doesn't matter. It was in 1831. Anyway, so this is recent history. This is ancient to recent. Actually, not even that ancient. And what happens is all these powerful women leaders, all the women who were magical dancers and singers and healers who could tell the future, were still connected to the old shamanic ways, basically, and who had healing herbal potions, who were basically the women of power that you could trust, who could birth babies safely. Okay, so they would kill these women, accuse them of being connected with Satan and the devil and heresy and all these things. And then what would happen is all the other women become terrorized, right? So you pull out one, you kill her and her children and her husband, and all the other women realize, oh, I can't dance in the forest anymore. I might get killed like her. And you do this, they did this over 700 years. So which cultures were doing this? Okay, we have Germany, it happened in the south of France, it happened in America and Massachusetts here, the Salem witch trials, in Spain, northern Italy, it was Scotland, Sweden. Okay, so you're getting the idea. A lot of white people, a lot of white-skinned people doing this to their own women, right? Destroying the goddess feminine. And when I look up Wikipedia, I see they don't even mention fear of the feminine as a cause, fear of women's power. No, they just say it's a religious crusade against women. And let's just face it, it's fear of the feminine, the beautiful, sexual, feminine, magic, healing power of women. So now we're talking about, right now, today, we want to awaken the sexuality of women. You know, sorry, my dress is coming down. We want to awaken this power of women. Boobage. Sorry. Women's boob power. Oh, anyway. We want to awaken the power, the sexual power, the sexuality of women today, of Western women. Okay, so and what we don't realize is that there's this huge way where men are still participating in the Inquisition without consciously realizing it. And it's not just white men. So here's a couple of examples. And just in my short life, I date this incredible Chinese guy who is a black belt in 3 different kinds of martial arts, and we're totally in love, and it's awesome, and we think we're getting married, until one day he discovers that people come to me as a channeler. I used to do this when I was younger, before I got scared out of it, before I was afraid of how people would see me and treat me. I had an ability to just open my mind, and spirit would write through my hands, and I could answer any question for people. So people were coming to me for this. And then I would also use the secret Dakini oracle cards as a way to give readings to people, and then I would do channeled writing. And for me, it was just very innocent. It was just like opening I knew it was love. I knew I wasn't opening myself to any kind of random bad energy. And I also saw the results of my channeling being very, very powerfully healing. But as soon as this guy who I was dating finds this out, he forbids me. He says, "You can't do that and be with me. That is just not something I can understand, not something I can have happen in my life. If you must stop." And I knew to have somebody tell me to stop being connected to my direct source of divine was going to mean I would be in a relationship with him instead of myself, with him instead of God the divine, through me directly connected to the divine. So I left him, and find out he calls me 15 years later, and now he's the he's a professor of esoteric studies at some university, because he was already a professor when I met him, So there it is. My leaving him changes his life, right? And he realizes, wow, I lost the best woman ever, and he goes and dives into esoteric studies. But this is the thing, you miss out on these great women when you forbid them of things. Okay, another guy, I have this sacred ritual I do with fire. Fire being the indigenous, for the ancient shamanic cultures around the world, which are earth-based, including paganism, and the ways of women that connect with women and birth and the earth. Fire is love. Fire is passion. Fire is what keeps us warm, light in the darkness, the way through the dark tunnel, the sacred love, the passion, the joy, the stars in the sky. This is a sacred entity. This is the molecules spinning within us around a nucleus of light. Light being fire. So the churches are like, they're okay with God, the sun in the daytime, but not fire. Come on, give me a break. So we're doing my sacred ritual with fire, dating a guy, and I invite him to the ritual, big mistake, and I say, let's pray together at the fire. Let's do offerings, and let's connect with our hearts with a sacred fire, and let's ask the fire to guide us and bless us. This is a ritual in India. When couples get married, they walk around the fire, and that sacred fire, it's an invocation for protection and love and joy, all those things, and the kundalini to activate within them. But no, he flips out. We're on a camping trip, and he's just like, you're putting that fire above me. I'm the fire. I'm the love you should want. Why do you want it with the, totally jealous of my relationship with the divine. Okay, so that relationship ends. I cannot give up my relationship with the love, the eternal love of the universe, the sacred fire, for some man's prejudice and fear. So you want the awakened woman, the woman whose sexuality is alive and passionate. She's likely to have some of these things that you need to start to understand and respect, because she's healed herself of the Inquisition. That's what I did, but it has taken me a lot of years to heal myself, just to have the courage for me to admit to you right now that I see God as feminine. I really do. A feminine being who is androgynous and encompasses the masculine. That's who she is to me. That's who I worship, and I do believe that the whole world is in actually a dance of polarities, masculine and feminine. So she doesn't exclude the masculine. She's just both, and she's but a little more feminine to me. But it's taken me years to be able to say that because of how we get punished as women even now. So you've got to wake up to the Inquisition in you. I'm at a luncheon with my boss, and we're all asking. I brought these cards along that I do my readings with, and I mentioned that I'm doing these readings, and he's scared. He's scared. Like, wait, what does that mean? That's going to interrupt with my spirituality. And I'm saying, oh no, whoever's your God, masculine, feminine, Jesus, whoever. Nothing can interrupt your relationship with your sacred spirituality there. Nothing, because you're strong in it. But the magic of women connected to the earth and nature doesn't have to disrupt religion. Well, it does actually. I guess it unsettles the whole thing because it says there's nothing between me and Goddess God. There's only direct connection. And that is a pretty big difference, right? So can you get with this? I mean, I can go on about, there's so many ways that I go dancing. I'm with a man who I really, really love, but he sees me dancing, partner dancing at a partner dance. Actually, back then it was swing dancing, I guess. And he's totally flips out in jealousy. He starts pulling the man aside and shouting, and now I can't go dancing anymore if I'm going to be with him. These are the gypsy ways. These are the goddess nature ways. Okay, so you want her sexuality to open up. You've got to let her dance. You've got to let her be mystical. You've got to let her connect with nature. Okay, good. I mean, gosh, so many other things. I mean, it's kind of, I like telling you the stories of these the ways that men have been afraid of my witchiness because I could have been married long ago, but I am married. I am married to love. I'm married to the feminine love that I am. And so what men have done over the centuries with the burning of the witches, when all these women were killed over 700 years, on and on and on, over 500,000 women, basically the terror of our own sexuality comes up, because if we can't be magical, if we can't dance, if we can't heal our family with herbs, these are all natural in feminine ways of being. See, witchery, healing, shamanism, it's actually the natural way that women exist. We exist connected, we exist dancing, we exist singing, we exist by feeding people, by birthing and helping each other birth. And to steal these things from us, to claim them as evil and to condemn us for them, what it does is it freezes us. And when you have all these women leaders taken out, I mean, if you imagine, okay, so Martin Luther King was killed, Malcolm X was killed, these great amazing leaders killed, changes the movement forward for the Black Matters, all the Black issues, the movement of that and Black history gets really altered when you take out the leaders. Well, imagine over 700 years, every time there's a powerful woman, and there was usually the older women, the older poor women that people were paying. They called it low magic. The high magic was for the Renaissance guys. They were allowed to practice that and be paid a lot. But low magic was women who were helping everybody in the community, thousands of people, and even the anchoresses who were buried in the churches when they were too powerful. So people would come to these windows under the churches to talk to the anchoress, who would be locked underneath there, and that was a way to not murder her but keep her incarcerated, right? So you take them out, or you incarcerate them, and you torture them in public, and now who do you have left? You have a bunch of terrified women, terrified, frozen women, turning against each other now to protect themselves. Super bad, ain't it? Really bad. Why am I talking about this old terrible stuff? Because it's alive in you guys still, and you don't know it. And you really, really need to face it, because it's a unconscious, it's a hypnosis. It's just like racism now. We think it's over with, and then we discover, oh my God, all these police are doing these bestial things, and we didn't know that, and now we can see it. Now we see it. We have to change all the ways that cops are trained, and all the laws around what they can and cannot do, and we have to persecute cops, so that's that's a big change going to happen. Well, with the women thing, you want sexy women. You got the billboards plastered with them. You got the porn industry making more money than it ever has, because sexuality is good, and women's sexuality is sacred, and it's a craving, and it's beautiful, and women's beauty feeds people. It's awesome. And then you want to give prostitutes no rights and no protection for their work, and no safety. So that there it goes. So you put the healer woman next to the hoe, next to the slut, next to the prostitute, and then you just lump them all together, demonize, But we need to really slow it down. I'm sorry, I'm talking really fast because so much. My mind is just going. All right, okay. So what we need to do is slow it down and think about the ways that you are hypnotized, and why are you so afraid of being able to do a spell, for example. Everybody does spells all the time. They're doing spells on you with advertising. They're doing spells on you with all the ways they teach you to disrespect women in every cartoon, in every sitcom, in every movie theater, So what's so bad about women doing spells to make life sacred, to protect the earth, to make somebody well, to protect her family or your family? Spells are, all they are they're positive thoughts made very clear, made very intentional. Everything's intention. The whole universe is just intention. It's focused intention. So we want to focus and intend her sexuality is awake and alive and powerful, right? So here are 12 things you can do for her to awaken her sexuality. I'll make a shorter video for this too. Excuse me. Number 1, tell her that magical and mystical esoteric studies fascinate you, and that it's really safe to be magically inclined. Respect her cats and pet them, and pet her pussycat too, okay? Yeah, all the pussycats in the house should get a lot of attention from you. Tell her you love her wild, ecstatic dancing and singing. You do. You love it. Yeah. Encourage her sounds in lovemaking. This is a really big one. Guys want the women to have pleasure, and then they were like, be quiet. Shh, shh, don't want anybody to hear you. Are you kidding? Come on. The more sounds she makes, the more you get the reputation of being an awesome lover. What's so bad about that? It's really good. Okay. And the more sound she makes, actually, the more feelings of pleasure she will have, truthfully. Encourage her bare feet and no heels and no makeup at times. And on the other hand, celebrate her when she does do them, both ways. Tell her you crave her seeing her face the way it is naturally. You love her body naked as it is without any push-up bra or anything. And on the other hand, when she gets all decked out and dressed up, don't go like, no, why aren't you natural? No, she's decking herself out also. That's a feminine thing. Since ancient times, women love to dress up. Come on, celebrate that too. So you got to do both. All right, good. Now, tell her that you want to smell her natural smells. You love her perfume? Yes, you love that. You love her fresh smells, and you also love her own smells. Both ways, natural and fancy. See Goddess God equally with her, and encourage any thoughts about Goddess, that the image that she's made in the image of Goddess, that this is a true thing. So So important. Encourage this, okay? So you see the divinity in her. You see that divinity of the feminine together. And you are not going to be complicit with the rest of the world that's trying to exclude her from divinity. If you want divine sex, you're going to open up her sexuality. You have to include her spiritual nature and her divinity. Good, okay. Believe her intuition. This is so big, guys. This is so big. When she's having a gut feeling and an intuition and she doesn't want to go to that party or drive down that road, don't get rational on her and start being like, no, I always go down the road. It's fine. I can drive this fast if I want, Mama. Trust her intuition, her gut feelings, and respond in kind with, oh, thank you. And don't go to that party. Don't actually follow it. This is a deep, deep knowing that women have at certain times. And this is core to their being. And if you will not support her in this or believe her in this, you're going to throw her off course of her life path and her knowing of what to do. And the other thing is when she does follow her intuition, you go with her, and it doesn't quite seem to make sense, or you don't get like big bells and whistles for having done so, make her right for it. Find a reason that it's right, okay? Because there are countless ways that this is actually going to affect your whole life in amazing, blessed ways, to allow her heart to guide you both at times and to go with that. And that's not to say that there won't be plenty of times when your heart doesn't guide, or also that your rationality guides in a way that is helpful and grounding. But when she's got that feeling, look at I'm turning red. I really mean this. This is a big deal to me. Oh, God. Yeah, so just let her heart guide you. See, I'm a witch. I am. I admit it. I'm a goddess witch, and I'm proud. And I always have been for many lifetimes. If you want to know what witches look like, just look at me. What they say, listen to me. Kind of crazy things they do, just watch my life. Constant transfiguration for the benefit of others. That's what we do. We lay our lives on the line for our community, and we are often people are jealous of our power or our beauty, and then they want to demonize us for helping because we seem more powerful, when really what we're trying to do is connect people to the innate power that you have right now, which is so huge. I am so into this guy, the quantum physicist Nassim Haramein, because he's bringing us back through science to within our molecules how we have direct access to all power. Every single one of us, in every situation, your intentionality of your mind, your focus, where you go, it's like you can enter into dimensional worlds through your own meditation. Other things to do for her: dance with her. Oh my gosh, join her in the dance. Okay, don't leave her alone in it, and join her, especially in lovemaking. Dance with her in lovemaking. Combine movement and dance with your lovemaking. Please don't make it all about your cock as if that's the only thing going on. That is such a small, insignificant thing going on for her, because for her, she's looking for all the chakras, all your kundalini, all of the aspects of your whole being connecting together, and the cosmic cock pussy thing going on at the same time is simply a symptom of your love. It is not the other way around. Okay. Let her flirt with other men. Okay, please just let her dress up, deck out, be so hot, and let guys flirt with her and her flirt with them too. As long as you know your agreements together, she's going home with you. Celebrate the way people love her. Celebrate the way she loves the world, okay? And hopefully she'll do the same for you, so that the two of you can shower the world with your sexy attention and still stay strong with each other without crossing any lines that feel like you're ignoring each other. The most important thing is that she comes back to you, you come back to her throughout those public events to claim each other and show in public that you love each other best and most. Beautiful. So now, women, often what we do is we decorate the house. We do magic spells in our house with our decoration and our prayers and our affirmations. And we will have like a painting where we're worshiping, or a statue. And then men confuse this. They call it idolatry. Okay, so they're like, oh, you're starting to worship stuff. It's not that way. What women know is that the metaphors of the belongings around them awaken a remembrance of the divine story. And also that everything's alive. Every chair, every lamp, every fabric, it's all a fabric of the universe. So allow her, please just allow her prayerful altars to be really respected. Don't go trampling, putting your muddy boots next to them like my girlfriend's sons did for years. Where she's just, you know what she did? She started taking the muddy boots that they would always put on her altar as if it made no difference on her sacred place. She would pick up their boots, finally their muddy boots, and just bring them into their bedroom and put them on their pillow. This is the thing that finally worked. They're like, Mom, how could you do that to me? And she's like, well, you're putting your boots on my altar. I'm just letting you know what it feels like, and that's where your boots are going to go from now on if you're not going to listen to my needs here. Okay, cool. So the main thing, last thing, is please don't use God against her. Okay, so we have all this stuff about, oh, God's the men made in the image of God, and this thing, President Carter, put out a statement recently which was so profound because he's a very religious man. And he loved his church. For many years, his church was just his mainstay. But he found that their doctrine against women was very consistent. And when he traveled the world to do world peace missions on behalf of communities, he found most problems, stemming from women being told that they're not equal to men because God is a man, and that they should do what men say and let men use them and abuse them and on because they don't have equal rights because of the way religious doctrine is set up against women. So please don't use the word God against her or any religion against her to entrap her and punish her or poison her mind with lesser thoughts of herself. You need to see how this religious problem all over the world is why the world's being destroyed and why women are being abused so terribly in so many countries. It comes down to the religious doctrine which will not include the feminine. But all we have to do in any of those religions, you don't have to give up the beautiful ancient wisdom of any tradition to simply include her story and God the woman along with it, with God the man, and then everything comes into balance, everything is made right, everything is made beautiful, and all the sacred words of that church become true. But as long as she's supposed to be a slave, nothing the church says is real, because what it is it's just another way to rob people's power and create slaves. And we don't want to do it anymore. None of us should be doing that anymore. So you can't do it with a jailing system against African American and other Latin brown people by making them work in jails for that white people don't get the same punishments because we just want more slaves. We can't do that anymore, and we can't do this enslaving of women through religion. Where they're enslaved to the family in such a way where they can't speak up and be listened to. I go all around doing my solar work, and over again, the woman's point of view, she's like, I want solar, I want to help the planet, this doesn't even cost us any money, we can just get into one of these programs. And the men act like it's okay to dismiss her input, dismiss her desire. So here we go, keyword, desire. Make her right for her desire for you. When she initiates, please make her right for that. Find whatever you have to find in yourself, your feminine nature, I don't know, your flow, a courageous part of yourself that lets go. When she initiates, okay, her desire, you've got to make it totally known that you love her desire, you love her pleasure. When she's going into pleasure mode, you want to be in pleasure mode with her, and it's a good thing. Okay, much love to you, darling. Love life. Thanks for being with me here on this amazing long adventure of awakening the Western woman's sacred sexuality. Mwah! Okay, love life, darling.